The garden watches Old Man Hemlock had the most beautiful garden in the county. Perfect rows of roses that bloomed impossibly large, and not a single weed anywhere. Garden gnomes, he'd say with a wink when neighbors asked his secret. They do the work at night. Everyone laughed. Garden gnomes were tacky ceramic decorations, nothing more. When Hemlock died, his nephew Marcus inherited the property. He hated those gnomes, creepy little things with frozen smiles, pointed hats, rosy cheeks. He boxed them up and sold them at a yard sale. That night, Marcus woke to scratching at his window. He pulled back the curtain. Empty garden, moonlight on turned earth. The scratching came from windows simultaneously. Marcus ran downstairs. The back door stood open. In the garden, the soil churned like something was breathing beneath it, and in the dirt, freshly pressed as if they'd grown there. 2 small footprints, then 4, then dozens, leading from the garden beds to the house. Marcus grabbed a shovel. "Get out here, I know you're there." Silence. He turned to go inside, and saw them. They lined the roof ridge, the fence posts, the tool shed, dozens of ceramic faces, motionless, watching. But their painted eyes seemed in the moonlight. Their smiles seemed wider than he remembered, and their hats, their pointed red hats were. Marcus ran, locked the door, called 911, laughed at himself, hung up. Just kids playing a prank. Had to be. At 3:17 a.m., he woke to singing. High, thin voices from the garden. A nursery rhyme in no language he recognized. Underneath it, the soft of something digging. He didn't look. He told himself he didn't look. In the morning, Marcus found his garden immaculate. Weeds gone. Soil turned. The vegetable rose straighter than any machine could manage. And in the center, where he'd buried the last of the gnomes in a cardboard box, a fresh mound of earth. Something was buried there now. Something the size of a man, wrapped in burlap, with 2 pointed shapes protruding from where the head would be. A note pinned to the burlap, written in fresh dirt. They found Marcus 3 weeks later, sitting in his garden, smiling. His skin was weathered ceramic pink. His cheeks were painted rosy red. He didn't blink, didn't speak, but every morning the weeds were pulled, the soil was turned, the vegetables grew impossibly large. The new neighbors think he's a decoration. They talk about removing him. At night, they hear scratching at their windows, and the singing. Gone, ah, 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 ah.